learn about Visual Studio Code with SFDX. So we are going to set up Visual Studio Code in our local machine, and we are going to authorize it with our org, and we are going to retrieve and deploy our code to the org. So first thing first, so what we need in order to use VS Code. First we need to download the exe. So this is the URL. You can find out all the URLs into the video description. Don't worry about the URLs. Second, you have to download the Salesforce CLI. Third, you have to download the Java SC development kit and the runtime environment. After downloading the Java runtime environment and the SDK, you have to install it, and after that you have to do few steps. Go to the systems, you have to set the environment variables. Go to here, advanced environment variables. I have already set up those. You have to add Java home, like that, and you have to add the Java home to the path as well, like this. Okay, and after all of this, we are ready to use the VS Code with SFDX. You have two ways to open the VS Code here: Visual Studio Code from the startup, or you can press Windows plus R and type code in it and press enter. It will open the VS Code for you. So after opening the VS Code, you have to go to extension. First thing first, you have to set your VS Code according to your requirement. So if you go here, Salesforce, type just Salesforce in the search box, you will find the Salesforce extension pack. Just install this pack. All the dependent extension will get installed automatically, like Salesforce CLI integration and the Apex. So it will take a while you guys to install this one, and I've already installed, so we can go ahead. So can you see this command, control shift P? That is what command we are going to use, and this command on screen, control shift P, this is the command which we are going to use a lot into our project. So let's just start with the command. So can you see this option, SFDX? So few of you guys will not be able to see these options, so don't worry about that, because after installing the extension, just restart your VS Code and you will be able to see this command. So just enter this. It will ask you for the project name, so let's just name it as first project. So select the folder, create project. Okay, lot of folders. So this is the default folder which has been created by the SFDX. This is the template actually. This is having few files. We are going to take a look on few files, and I'll cover all the files in my further videos. So let's just take on SFDX project JSON. This is our project file which will define our package directories. So Force app is our default directory, and the SFDC URL, Salesforce URL, by default it is loginsalesforce.com. Okay. This is Force ignore. These are the files which is being ignored by the deploy and retrieve of SFDX command. So any of the files which you want to exclude, you can enter here. We'll cover the topic later on about the files which we should exclude from our project, which we should include. So we'll cover that topic as well. Let's just go to the config. Here we have the project scratch definition. So it is this definition we use when we have to create the scratch org. That is also I'm going to cover in my further videos, but today our agenda is to use the sandbox or the org. Both are same way, so you can use the way which I'm going to tell you. You can use for it, use for the sandbox and use for the actual org as well. So this is our VS Code settings. So in the setting JSON, you will find the extension related settings. Focus on the first one, push and deploy on save. If you mark this one true, your code will automatically push to your connected org. So right now I'm setting it to false. I'll show you guys the true as well. So first thing first, we are going to authorize our org. Can you say this? SFDX authorize an org. I have used this command many times, that's why it is coming in my list. It could happen that it is not coming in your list, so just type SFDX AUTH, it will come for you guys as well. Just press enter and select the URL. Will usually work on sandbox, but we are working on developer edition, so we are going to use production. Give a meaningful alias, so production. So can you see guys, we just use a command, but in the background it is calling SFDX force auth web login, and all the parameters already been set, because when we have fired that command, that text box we have filled with, that is automatically been set. So this extension is just providing us a UI, user-friendly UI, so you can pass the parameter, but in the background it is calling the force auth web login API. So whether you call the command from the using the extension, or you can use the terminal as well. So I prefer using the extension as long as I can. So let's just see, it has automatically opened this URL for me, remote access authorization. Can you see this URL? So what you have to do is you have to type in your org credentials, okay. Now we are authorized to use this particular org. So guys, don't worry about the org. If you guys don't have the org, just go to the developer.salesforce.com and sign up here. You can create your own org with developer edition. Okay, so I have already created, you guys have to create it. So I'm authorized now, and my package XML, let's just go here. Can you guys see this package XML? So this is going to be a base, what component you are going to retrieve, what items you are going to retrieve from the org. So basically this is the list of our components: Apex pages, suite, trigger, lightning component, static resources. These are the basic components which is by default came with the project, because it's so let's just do one thing, we are going to retrieve it, and in the meantime it is retrieving, let me just show you what is in my org. Okay, so we just logged in into my org, so let's just go to the developer console. This is the original IDE provided by the Salesforce. I don't have anything into the pages. I have one trigger for the testing purpose. I have two classes. One is our test class, one is our trigger handler. It's empty right now, just for demonstration purpose I have created. So let's just see. Okay, now the code is retrieved. So what we have here, we have the lightning component, hello world, which I have created for the demonstration purpose, test classes, and the trigger handler. So let's just see into our project. This is our default folder structure. So here into the classes you are going to get the list of your classes, and in the trigger you will find this trigger. Okay, so let's just test. So I'm going to add something, deploy manual deployment. So I saved this one. What I have to do is so this is in red, so that means something is not right, problem 2. So I forget to add the semicolon. That is the good part of this IDE, because what happens into the original IDE, if you've done this kind of a mistake, you have to save it and you have to wait for the refresh of that component. So let's just do this. I'm going to deploy this to the org. You can see what we have deployed. So we have deployed one trigger handler, one is the XML, and okay, so let's just see here. This file we have modified. This is our trigger handler. Okay, so let me just refresh this. Manual deployment is there. So let me show you the option which I showed you in the start. Into the test, what I'll do is press to this. Okay, so now what will happen is anything which I'm going to change into the trigger, can you see guys, I have just pressed Ctrl S and it is doing automatically the steps which we have previously done by right click on that onto that file and deploy to org. So that has been done automatically. Let's just check. I'm doing F5. Here we go. So what we did till now, created a project and authorize our org and retrieve the project code and deploy a particular class. That bit we did. So now just go ahead with the test cases, the major problem. So here we go. This is our test case. Okay, how to run the test cases? This one. So it's very easy. Let's talk about one. Can you see this test? Go here, just refresh this one, and can you say this is my test? So all the test cases are listed here. You can just click on this one and you can run the test. Okay, so how we are going to debug? So the Salesforce is providing one feature with this SFDX, Apex debugging log for replay debugger. So this replay debugger is playing a major role while debugging. So what is replay debugger? So based on your log file, it will debug your code which is available into the VS Code, and you can debug how you debug your C# code into the Visual Studio. So let's just do this. Turn on the debugger. So I'm turning on the debugger. So my debugger is done. So what will happen? You need a log file. So in the first go you will not be able to debug this one. First you have to run this. So by clicking on run test, it is going to execute this particular method, and if you are going to click on run all tests, it is going to execute the whole class. Okay, let's just see the things here. Okay. How you are going to get the log? There is a command, get apex debug log. So you will get the log here. So let's just take a look how old this log is. So this is our current log. So let me just click on this one. We are going to retrieve this log. Great. So you can see this log. Now we will be able to debug this one. Just now what we have to do is again the same command, Ctrl+Shift+P. Don't forget this command. And what we have to do is we have to launch our Apex Elite debugger on current file. If the file is open, you will be able to see with current file, otherwise you can see last log, and if you don't have any log, it will ask you to provide the log file manually, like a browse window or something. So Right now what we are going to do is we are going to do debugger with current file. Yeah, here we go. We have our debugger point over here. We can do F10. Here we go. Can you guys see here, like a Visual Studio watch window, I can see my variables in this window. So let's just go ahead. Now I set P, you can see here. So in long run, like where we have the huge classes, this is just two lines. If we have a huge class, there is very difficult to debug or track the error, because using system.debug and tracking out from the text file, it is very difficult. Right now as well, you can see this is the log where you can just track. It is very difficult to go through the system.debug. So if we get this kind of a feature, that is going to be great help over here. So that's how you debug it. That's how you debug it. Okay guys, what we have covered today. We covered how to set up the Visual Studio Code, prerequisites, configure an SFDX project, authorization, retrieving, deploying, debugging. So guys, please do the practical by yourself, and if you are facing any issue, please write in the comments. I'll definitely try my best to answer your questions. Please click onto the subscribe and follow me.